All right. Looks like I am up live. Just checking here, guys. Sorry, real quick. Give me 1 second. Okay, cool. There we go. All right. How we doing tonight, everybody? Chiron crew. So just Paul here tonight. We've got Rory is on the road with Randy. They are currently in seminars, I'm sure, right now teaching with our friend Gabe Cohen. Malcolm is on the mat, I believe, with Tammy McCracken, so fellow director. For those who aren't aware, Tammy has her 500 Rising project, which is just one of the best things in the world for the personal protection self-defense industry. And Malcolm is there currently being a student, which is, I personally think that's one of those most vital things, right? So we're going to talk a little bit tonight about verbal judo, its importance, its utility, how and where and when to practice it. But I'm going to brag a little bit about my awesome crew. You know, we get on the mat and we do the student training. That was actually one of the things Rory talked about a little bit in being retired guy, as he's literally on an 8-week trip with Randy. He's retired. That's how Rory retires. The opportunity to get on the mat and be the student and train more. I go once a week to my instructors and take off the teacher hat and put on the student hat and play and train and, you know, absorb and pick up new stuff. I sign up for seminars in all types of industries. Malcolm right now is training under Tammy or with Tammy, words, languaging. And that's important, right? So I guess in the comments below, if you guys get a chance, like, how do you do this as an instructor? Where do you go? What do you do? How do you train? But tonight's topic actually is verbal judo. So we know, personal protection, we know that verbal de-escalation work is vital. And in doing so, how and where and when do we get this practice? You know, Rory talks a lot about everybody's naturally good at this. And small bone to pick with him. Some people aren't even very good at banter. And if you're not very good at banter, then you're probably not going to be particularly good at verbal judo out of the box, right? The adrenalized you is not the non-adrenalized you. So you're not suddenly smarter and more adaptive and more efficient in a functional cerebral capacity when adrenalized. So it's unlikely you are suddenly going to become a wordsmith and a debate pro when you need it. So at my academy, we incorporate this stuff under like sort of a managing incoming opponents. We earmark certain students. Some students are particularly good at being the bad guy or being the opponent and taking advantage. Weirdly, the two who tend to be the best at it are lawyers. So lawyers have a use for all my lawyer friends out there. And current law enforcement tend to be really, really good at this. And I asked one in particular, and he said, well, I've heard all of it. And because I've heard all of it, it's pretty easy to turn around and drop it on, we'll say, opponents in class, right? Or unsuspecting peers in class. So a lot of ways, a lot of scenarios that you can play with and work through there and give people a chance to, you know, get the yips out to a certain extent while you're on the mat and play with this verbal judo stuff. We do sort of a cognitive game where we'll play physical activities and ask people trivia questions. So you're having to access that like verbal cognitive thinking part of the brain while under physical duress. Now, hopefully, if you're getting a chance to do verbal de-escalation and self-defense, you never get to the physical part of it. But that doesn't mean the adrenaline kick is not still there, not something you still have to learn how to ride out. So do you guys do this at home? Do you guys play with this on the mats with your peers or your classes? For those who run formal academies like I do, how do you incorporate this? How do you guys play with the verbal judo element? How do you play with the, you know, we did a series of these, we've done a couple series of the following here at my academy, trigger words, right? Or triggering topics or triggering subjects. Do you touch upon that? Obviously, we want student buy-in. We don't just start screaming profanities or obscenities or whatever triggering things are for people these days at people without their say so, right? We do encourage people to push their boundaries. And it's weird, you know, I've talked, like Rory's on the road now with Randy, and we both say the same thing all the time. You can have some of the meanest, dirtiest, nastiest physical drills that are just sweat fest. You know, we're gonna fight, and we're gonna do burpees, and we're gonna fight, and we're gonna do sprints, and you're gonna puke, and you're gonna come back. And more people will sign up for that physical hell Oh, we're doing verbal drills today. Yeah, I gotta wash my hair, Sensei. It's getting kind of long, and I've got to fix that. I just can't. I don't want to do the talky stuff. I'm here to work out and sweat. Oh, it's so weird and awkward for me, and I don't mind punching people in the face, but telling them to fuck off like that, I can't do. So it's one of the things we find, like, it is the most uncomfortable for most people. Certainly some physical limitations for certain folks, but we find a huge limitation mentally, or mental roadblock, on the ability to actually tell somebody in training, in practice with your friends, like, nope, you stay the fuck right there, or nope, you back the fuck up. And people struggle with that. It's fascinating how much the social interactive part is the real big challenge, which tells us, instructor level notes here, guys, right? It tells us just how vitally important it is that we get that workout, right? What's the purpose of a training facility in the first place? Yes, pick up new physical skills, right? But grow comfort level. If you're not growing your comfort level, so one of the elements of self-defense is, what are you morally willing to do and capable of doing? Can you put your thumb in somebody's eyeball? Ew. Well, over time, we can grow comfort with that and build up on it, right? Can you tell a stranger, go fuck yourself, or fuck off, or leave me the fuck alone, or back the fuck up? Sorry, Boston, a lot of F-bombs. Can you tell a stranger to do that? Oh, I feel really rude. So enforcing your boundary makes you feel rude and icky inside. Well, that is something we have to work on, right? And that's deeply important as students of the martial way, students of the world of self-defense, students of the goal of encouraging our own and others' personal protection skills and abilities. It's vitally, vitally important. In the monthly cohort right now, we are working on two topics of the basic 7. We're working our way through the basic 7 month over month. Counter assault, which is a physical activity, right? Surprise, and you do something at that point, whatever, if the Dracula's Cape from Rory's work, the high wedge, whatever we want to refer to it as. Some Aikido Jiu-Jitsu artists will, a palm heel drive to the face. All these things work, but it's a physical response to physical stimuli. The other one that starts tomorrow, as a matter of fact, or Tuesday technically for those in the cohort, will be the freeze. And a huge part of the freeze is the verbal element of it. Case in point, one that I hear from the younger, usually male students, but certainly female students as well. I don't know what to say to the opposite sex under flirtatious conditions. I freeze. I don't know how to work my way through that. I'm not going to help them drill that. That's their problem, but their friends can help them through that. But working your way through and playing the games and playing the role, tying it into some of the physical, we'll do drills here where your partner, Japanese term uki, your partner has the ability to decide, and escalate or de-escalate based upon a little bit on your skill level in talking them down, right? And it requires a skill of the partner, as I mentioned before, that if you don't have a good partner who can't play with, then you're gonna have a very hard time getting forward progress, right? If your partner is also as equally self-conscious of using the words or pushing the boundaries, you're gonna have a difficult time with that. Something I will say personally, I actually found over the years a huge amount of increase in my ability to get comfortable with it. And I'm not talking about just the ability to talk. I can talk. I'm from Boston. We can talk. My actual comfort level increased in playing op4, playing the oppositional force. In doing so, I learned that it's fun to play roles, like, role playing as a kid is fun. Superheroes and cops and robbers and whatever else. Those type of games are fun. And if you let yourself access that part of the brain, going to like the violence dynamics training and playing scenarios there, some of the environmental training, playing these roles and playing these situations and playing the bad guy, there's a lot of value in that. If you've done a physical training style, hands-on, I will frequently offer, after all this years, whenever possible, no health requirements hold me back, I will offer to be my instructor's partner, because feeling it, that kinesthetic feeling, is better than visually watching it. So being the bad guy or being the uki and receiving the technique. in this case here, being the bad guy and playing that role, don't shy away from that stuff. It's vitally important. It's super powerful for giving you the chance to think like a bad guy, wordsmith your way through it, have some fun with the role, see which ways you can manipulate. What are the avenues that are open to me? And I've had, again, personally, great success and great development and growth over the years, certainly playing the good guy role as well, but really diving in and playing the bad guy role. And it's been kind of enjoyable. So I am going to switch over now. We have our Sunday call for most of you guys that know. I appreciate everybody that was joined and watching on Facebook. And for those, we'll post this up on YouTube. So those watching on YouTube later. Sorry, you just got to look at my shiny bald head, guys. And there's no Malcolm and Rory to pretty the place up tonight. But they'll be back. Like I said, we're students ourselves. We train. That is, it's part of the Chiron ethos. We don't know it all. We all twitch at the word expert because we're like, hate being called experts. We like learning, we like getting better, and we invite you guys to come and play and train. Rory, like I said, he's on the road right now. If you're not sure where, go to Randy King Live. He's got a group and he has lots of images and all his social media. That's what Randy's good at. All his social media with all the dates and all the places they're coming up. I know they're in Ohio, they're here in Boston. So make sure you take a look at, and they're not super doing self-defense stuff. Rory's doing his dirty judo stuff and Randy's doing his dirty boxing stuff. They're still the self-defense guys. They're still going to talk about that stuff, but they're also just having fun. So if you get the opportunity, guys, definitely join and have fun with that. And I got people in my waiting room, so I'll be switching over to the Chiron team now. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining, crew.